Welcome, everyone, to episode 54 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host, Tyler, and I have with me today Mr. Let's Go Ape, Austin.
Hello.
Hello.
I tried to think of a quick retort for that, and I could not.
It was unexpected.
And it would not be a Video Game Club episode without Blackwell's top student, Mox.
Thank you. Oh.
How is everyone doing on this fine Sunday?
Oh, excited to talk about this game.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Besides Life is Strange, what have you been playing, Mox?
Oh my goodness. I finished 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. If there is ever a game that just ties everything into the prettiest little box when you're done, it was this game. There's even a lore piece that costs 0 points to unlock when you beat the game. That's called, like, the explanation or the truth. The truth is what it is. Oh, You just love it.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. So, high praise from Mox.
Oh, it was a great game. I love the story. It unfolds in a great way. You have to split your time between doing story stuff like virtual novel and then doing fighting stuff. And you can choose the difficulty of the fighting stuff, and it still gives you rewards regardless. And the fighting stuff's actually pretty fun, and you can upgrade things. Oh man, we should have played that instead of whatever we played instead. What was it, Bro? Yeah.
Bro. Interesting. Jealous. Austin, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring. I'm trying to see if I can wrap that up before the big day comes. So I've got 90 hours in it. I'm getting...
Wow.
I'm like edging closer towards the end, but it seems like I've still got a lot to do.
What level are you? 90 hours in.
I'm around 120 or
Oh!
so. 120 or 130?
I heard that's
Somewhere in
around
that
the
range.
average level for ending the game.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
Wow. I have been playing a lot of Cult of the Lamb, a new game published by Devolver Digital. I feel like it's been making its ways on the Twitters and stuff, but it's really
And
good so far.
We're sure it's not a new Binding of Isaac expansion pack.
No, it's not. It's not. And I'm on the last episode of the Skywalker saga, so I have one more episode to go, and then I have done the whole thing, all 9 movies, Lego Star Wars, the
Wow.
whole thing.
Oh my
100%.
goodness.
Oh, yeah, not 100%ed, but at least I've
100%.
done. No, I don't know if I'll.
Can't roll credits till you hit 100%.
Gosh, there's like so many collectibles in that game. It's insane. Like it would take to 100% any Lego game is just kind of a lot, but this one specifically is so hard.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
It annoys me as someone who prefers Trek over Wars that Wars has such a like cohesive everything, one person making it all so they can do things like that. Whereas, I don't know, there's no Lego, Star Trek, TNG
No, I think
going
Star
through every
Trek
episode.
paired with like Mega Bloks or something like that. They always went with like some off-brand
Oh!
something to make their toys and their merchandise. Even their games kind of are terrible.
Whoa,
for the most part.
no. Star Trek Armada.
Look,
Classic.
there are certain games that like come and shine through, but most of their games are very bad.
I played one on the Sega Genesis, and it was not very fun. But
I played the Super Nintendo version of that one, and yeah, it is not fun.
People really
but I was
liked
also
the
young.
Bridge Commander one, too. The VR.
That one's fun. I did enjoy that.
Now, before we get started, just a reminder, this is Video Game Club, where every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. And if you can't catch us live, don't worry, you can find us on YouTube and all major podcast services. And if you appreciate what you're hearing, let us know. Consider subscribing, rating, commenting, all those fun things. And yeah, come to the Discord and let us know what game you would like to see in Video Game Club and discuss the game that we're currently playing and vote on the next game, all those fun things. And it's not too late. If you're hearing this right now, you can go in and make your vote for the next episode. So go do that. The nominations for this episode were Life is Strange, Before Your Eyes, Forward to the Sky, and I'm going to be real honest, Austin, the only one I ever heard of was Life is Strange. Are these all like similar games or?
They were games that were kind of like on my radar that I wanted to, that I just wanted to play.
Hmm.
So,
But they're not like the same genre or anything like that.
No, but they.
Okay.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't really come up with a convincing, cohesive connection between all these.
Yeah.
Other than their titles are very, metaphorical. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So, Life is Strange. It is a episodic adventure game developed by Don't Nod Entertainment. Don't Nod was formed in 2008, based in Paris, France. They made one game before this one. Any guesses?
Oof.
No.
Starts with an
Have they made any
R.
games since other than Life is Strange games?
They have.
Oh, okay.
They did Tell Me Why.
They did Tell Me Why, Life is Strange 2, Vampire with a Y. They did that game. But they did one game before this. It has an orange cover.
The orange box.
No, it's called Remember Me.
Oh, I played that.
Oh my goodness. I've never even heard of it.
It was published by Capcom.
What is happening?
And did you enjoy that one, or what was it? Was it a story game too, or?
It's despite the title, it's not a very memorable game. It's got some like really slick UI, and it has some interesting ideas in its combat system. But yeah, it's kind of a forgettable game.
Oh, this game was published by Square Enix, and it was released episodically, like I mentioned before. First episode on January 30th, 2015, and the last episode October 20th, 2015. Oh my lord, imagine having to wait for them to release 10 months. Whew! It came out on all major platforms when it first came out, so PC, Mac, Linux, PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and it came later to Android, iOS, and Switch. There's also a remaster available. That's what I played, and I cannot wait to share my opinion on that. So 2015 in gaming, we had the new Nintendo 3DS that came out.
Wow. What a good year.
The Steam machines started coming out that year. This is a good year.
The Link? Is that one?
No, like this. I don't know. Maybe the Steam Link came out around the same time.
Might have been the same time because that was
I got
kind
one of those.
Yeah. No.
A lot of
there was a fire sale, and I got one of those. I was very happy. That was recently, though.
Like the $5 ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're good. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Software. They had a bunch of really good games came out. Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, and 4 games, if I did my research correctly, that we've played so far.
Axiom Verge. I always guess that one.
Yep, that's one.
Yeah!
Nice.
One of
Soma?
Yep, Soma, yep.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Toby Fox's game.
Undertale.
Yeah.
And one that is all text that we played. It was an Austin recommended one. Hacknet, yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always, for some reason, Undertale is always like so recent on my mind that it feels like it came out.
I know,
like,
right?
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
I thought I chose Hacknet.
Oh, you may have chosen Hacknet. Sorry, Mox. I apologize.
I think I swayed the vote on that one, and Mox was like, "You're not allowed to go comment about
oh, that's right.
our voting topics anymore."
Gosh. Also, we have played 50 games exactly as part of Video Game Club. Mox, you've played 47.
Oh.
But
I'm sure I've played fewer than that.
We've played 50. Well, yeah, because I guess some of you. Yeah, but I mean, like, you've been participating for 47 games.
I appreciate you saying that I've played them.
The 3 before were Titanfall 2, Hotline Miami, and Halo Wars.
Which, to be clear, are the lost episodes, right?
Correct. Yep.
That has been asked multiple times with no answer given, lending a lot of mystery to these lost episodes. Those are the lost episodes.
Yeah, so me and Austin first started. It was just me and him. And the first one was Titanfall 2, and we thought it would be a good idea to stream playing the game and talking it, and that was terrible idea.
Yeah, that was really bad.
It was really bad. And we didn't record it or anything. We just had it on Twitch, and then
we did the same thing for Halo Wars. It was like you were doing the Covenant campaign.
Yeah, and that was also a terrible idea as well. And
then finally for Hotline Miami, I was like, I'm going to record some gameplay, and then you can just play that while we talk.
Yes. And then that's how we got to, And then we did Firewatch, and that's when you joined, Mox. We asked you to join us, and then
Yes,
the rest
thank
is
you for
history.
not including me on those other 3. I would not have played them.
I think you would have really enjoyed Titanfall 2.
Nah.
I think you would have cried.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway, Life is Strange. But 50 games, that's crazy. I feel like when we started Video Game Club, at least for me, Austin, my big thing was I never finish games, and I really want to start finishing them. And yeah, to say that, we've played, finished almost, I think there was only a few that I haven't finished all the way through.
I think there was one.
I didn't do Grow all the way through. I think that's the only one.
That's the only one. It's to have played most of them, to have gotten your $1 worth. And I definitely got that.
Oh yeah.
To play to the point where you have closure. You say,
yes.
I'm done with this game. I know that I am done with it.
I've seen the credits of 49 games, I'll tell you that. So this game, Life is Strange, it got generally positive reviews, 7s and 8s. People really liked the time travel mechanic, the soundtrack, the characters, but there were some issues with the lip syncing that people didn't like. The slang, even in 2015, was dated that was in the game, and the script and writing were kind of not received well. The I guess it's like all episodes. I guess I don't know, but it sold 1 million. There were 1 million. I think they said 1 million unique players that have purchased it or played it or something like that in July 2015. And then they announced 3 million copies May 2017. So
at some point they made the first episode free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that number is including free players, but
yeah, who knows? All right, let's discuss.
I never trust those numbers.
I know, same.
Who decides those numbers?
Well, the thing is too is like some companies like don't share numbers as well. So like, I mean, I'm sure they can know from like the publisher or whatever, but there's also like digital sales you can know fairly easily. I'm assuming if you're a publisher, like you can find out. Maybe with Nintendo it's a bit harder. I know Nintendo purposely doesn't release their like digital sales to the big company that does I can't think of it right now, but there's a company that MPD is what it's called. They don't release their digital sales, I'm pretty sure. But for physical sales, all they can say is like this many shipped.
Yeah, which is also weird.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Who knows? And if you shipped it, I guess technically the store bought it, but it maybe, I don't know that much about retail, but I imagine there might be some like, if this doesn't sell like we think it's going to sell, then you have to buy them back. Like I don't know how that works. Right. So who knows? Okay. It's time to discuss Life is Strange.
Ooh.
Starting with the gameplay of this third-person adventure game where you play as Max Caulfield, who's studying photography, who just learned the ability to rewind time. She can examine objects by looking at them, touching them. I guess it's more interacting with them. I guess looking, physically interacting, and then on occasion you can take photos. Would you guys say you solve puzzles in this game? I guess there's some puzzles.
There's a few pretty simple puzzles.
I don't know if I'd call them puzzles so much as like, I don't know, figuring things out or making, certain, I don't know. They're not puzzles. There's no puzzle.
So but we're not going to like go into details about the story, but right now, but when you're in the barn, Mox, and you have to rewind time to do a thing, to go, to elevate yourself in the barn, what I'm talking about?
I guess.
Is that a puzzle or not?
To me, a puzzle is like in, the game with Nathan Drake. Like you do puzzles in that game. You move things and make them fit in a way that is like a puzzle. Or
I
like
see.
Puzzle Agent or Professor Layton. These are just like, I don't know.
Gameplay
They're
elements.
not puzzles.
This is like a 4D puzzle. You got the time manipulation mechanic.
Oh my
You're
gosh!
giving way
Oh
too
my
much
gosh!
Credit to this game.
I mean,
for
again, they
puzzles.
are extremely simple, but there are a few spots where it's like, okay, how am I supposed to get in there with everything that I need when
They're
Yeah.
choices more than puzzles.
That's fair. You also, anyway, you solve those quote unquote puzzles and have conversations to progress the story. There's branching dialogues that. Do you feel like there was an impact on decisions you made? Really?
not
Yeah.
by the end.
Well, okay,
Well,
not
okay,
in the
okay. Take the end out. Take the end out.
because
No,
nothing
no.
really
Well,
matters.
No matter what she did, like things will matter for a little bit, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna go do this. I guess everything that you did doesn't matter."
But there are people who will die and people who don't
True.
die.
True.
And then it doesn't matter because then they're we'll get into that in the spoilers, but I'll leave it alone for now.
But how'd you feel about the gameplay? Did you like having to walk slowly? That was cool,
No,
right?
No.
You can use right trigger to
Not
move
always.
faster.
Not always.
I never found a time where I couldn't move at least a little bit faster.
Oh my god! So help me God! If that was the remaster, I will just be even more
But-
angry.
Well, even then, it was still like if you forgot something and you know where you need to go, or if you're replaying something after you didn't like a decision that you made, it felt like it was forever.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Gosh.
So
Um.
for me, in terms of the gameplay, like I think the time rewind mechanic was interesting, and I think it would have been cooler if there were more interesting dialogue branches. But there were one of the
Well-
issues in a game like this is they show you like a very brief summary of what you're going to say, right?
mhm.
And sometimes that can get miscommunicated. Like
I
you don't know
hate
the
that.
tone
Mhm.
that your character's going to use, or like it's they word it too vaguely that you end up saying something that's just like, oh, I didn't want to go with that at all.
Yep.
That's like Mass
Um,
Effect right there.
And so the rewind is really nice for that. So you're not having to go like replay an entire section like you would in a Telltale game. But in here, most of the time that problem wasn't there, so I didn't have to use it for that very often. When I did, it was nice. Sometimes it would rewind too much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But still, it was nice to be able to like it all worked nicely. There was never a time where the rewind mechanic was like getting in my way. So at the very least, that was nicely done.
Yeah. And there's like, you're in like kind of not a huge open environment, but you are in some somewhat open environment that you can walk around and interact with different things.
Again, same with the puzzle. Really,
Yeah, you'll usually be like in a spot with some optional things to interact with, but I wouldn't describe it as like a
open.
most stuff gets closed off to you.
Yeah,
when
it's
you're
very
in a
linear,
particular
right?
Section, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the visuals?
Oh, barf.
I mean,
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Mox. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I play my favorite games, these like Nancy Drew point and click adventures, and they run on this awful internal engine that has been updated 1,000 times and never. It's always in that uncanny valley. I don't know how they manage it. So this game was like, oh, it's like my Nancy Drew games. I played them with my sister while I was growing up, so I didn't hate it, but it is awful.
When you said this came out in 2015, I was surprised because this looks very bad for a 7-year-old game. Like it looks really dated.
Wait till you hear about the
Especially when Square
remaster.
Enix posts their name all over it, like look at us, we're Square Enix, high budget studio. And then
Yeah.
you get to the characters like dead faces and God.
Looking at the footage that you recorded on stream right now, Austin, comparing that to the remaster,
Yeah.
I see no difference.
Wow,
Oh, wow.
that's disappointing.
I'm not even kidding you. And I know this is the PC version, and I played the Xbox remaster, so maybe like the original that came out, it did graphically look different, enough, but I don't see any difference at all with anything. Like all the lighting looks the same, the graphics look the same, the style looks the same, everything looks the same. It does.
And like,
Oh, good.
Just for context, I know like Telltale is not technically speaking a good graphical style or anything like that.
No one's
but
playing those games for the graphics, right?
It's a small studio, and they have a consistent style, especially when you look at something like The Wolf Among Us. Like that looks like a comic book style, but it is a style that they're going for. And this is just like, it just feels jank.
Do you think that they are going for some sort of graphic novel aesthetic with it, like style with it? Because the
In
characters
some of the
kind
marketing,
of
it looks like it, but like during the gameplay, I didn't get that sense at all.
yeah, it almost feels like it doesn't. I don't know if it's because like the way that the shadows work or whatever. I don't know, but like it doesn't feel like that. It feels just like they just didn't like want to. I don't know, like spend more time on the character models and stuff like that. And I know I'm sure that's not the case, but it just feels like that. It's my experience.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mox, did you play on PC as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
It's charming in a kind of way.
What'd you guys think of the soundtrack? It used a lot of licensed songs that were like, I don't know. I felt like it had like Alt J in there and Bright Eyes and Jose Gonzalez and some others.
I didn't like this. I don't really like this kind of music. It's very
Oh, really?
emo teen.
Aw.
Yeah.
I
appreciated it for the, setting.
Yeah, I thought it fit well in the game.
It's music that I like to listen to regularly, so I was happy to hear it. Especially when I heard Bright Eyes, I was really happy.
I guess you're a teenage boy now.
Oh yeah. The like original soundtrack was composed by Jonathan Morali, and I think it fit pretty well as well. Like the little tidbits of the original soundtrack that you hear. I really like the I'll just say like the reverse section.
Oh, I did not like that.
Interesting. And and the credits, they show the credit for that song reversed as well, which is really funny to see.
I skipped the credits.
Oh gosh.
I don't usually skip credits, but I was so cheesed
Dang.
playing this that I skipped the credits for each episode.
Okay. Well, how did you feel about the controls and interface, Austin, on the version that you played?
It was fine. The interface was a little annoying sometimes when I would try to like look at something in particular. I liked that if you were repeating a section, you could skip the dialogue. Mm-hmm. I did not like that you could not skip ahead on dialogue when something was taking too long, and you were like reading ahead. You couldn't skip forward or be like, "Oh, I already regret the choice that I made. I'd like to rewind time." They'd be like, "No, you have to watch this whole scene play out now, and then you can rewind time."
No, feel more bad than you already feel. Feel worse. Now rewind.
There were a couple of times where it was like something wouldn't show up as investigatable until you did something else.
I hate those kind of situations.
It wasn't something that changed the situation. It was just like, well, no, you
checkpoint.
You just have to do this before those are stupid.
There's one, I remember one specific time I opened up a door, or I went to open a door and it was like, not yet, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why? What needs to happen?
The text messaging system was just truly awful. Like, really, really bad. I would get a notification, and I'd go open up my text messages, and I would be mid-conversation with whatever character it was, with messages I hadn't seen before that apparently came in, like, between scenes. Mm-hmm. But they would already be texting me some like new stuff, and it's just rapid fire, like. And sometimes they'll send you like 10 or 15 in a row, and you can't get out of it. Like, you just have to keep hearing that horrible noise over and over again while you're trying to keep up with the text, and it's awful. Then you back out and you see you've gotten 10 texts from other people that you never got notifications for because, like, and they never explained or point anything out about it. That's just like, yeah, there's your phone, I guess. It was bad. It was bad.
I didn't have that experience with the remaster, but
art imitates reality.
Yeah, I guess.
How did you feel, Mox, about interface and control elements and everything?
It's fine. Again, it's very well. She doesn't always go where you want her to go, Max. I don't know. And then I don't know. I didn't have any other complaints.
Yeah.
After Telltale kind of set the format for this type of game, like, it's hard to mess that up, and I think they pretty heavily pulled from that.
Yeah, right. It does seem like that at least. Sometimes I had issues where I couldn't interact with something,
Oh.
and that was kind of frustrating. Like I would have to look at something like a very specific way.
Hmm.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, to like be able to look at it or interact with it in some other way,
Like
or
some
take a
collision
photo.
issue.
Yeah, or like there's a pointer, but it doesn't show you. Like there's like a, like a reticule or whatever, reticle.
Yeah.
But it
so
doesn't
you're trying
show
to like,
you
look at something in particular
Yeah,
and get the
yeah.
interface to pop up.
Exactly. But besides that, I feel like the like hints for the photos in the journal or whatever were really cool. Did you guys read through the journal at all?
No.
I read through the beginning. In the first episode, I started reading through it, and I thought it was pretty nice, and felt, everything. It was nice to look at and read and everything, and that was good. And the hints for the photos were pretty cool, and I thought the text messaging worked really well in the remaster, at least. But it's a bummer it wasn't like that in the whenever you were playing Austin.
I don't know what he's talking about.
So maybe it's just an Austin thing.
Did
then.
you look at the text messages at all, Mox?
Yes, always though. I was always up to date.
Same.
But like, I would start a new scene. They would give me my first notification, and I'd pull it up, and immediately, that like there were messages like
I don't know what the problem is.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't getting notifications for everything, but I don't know. It seemed like there were messages coming in between scenes that I had missed. I don't know. Then I have to scroll back and read them. And
did you guys have any like big performance issues or crashes or anything, or weird bugs?
No. I'm nervous to hear what you're going to say.
I had a couple scenes where like somebody would just stop moving their mouth.
That's
entirely.
Standard. Who cares about that?
That's not standard, Mox, for a story cutscene based game like
someone's
very
talking no
dialogue
mouth.
That's really weird to just be like, all right, well, I'm not moving my mouth anymore.
Gosh. I mean, I just have low standards for these kind of games.
Maybe.
This is a Square Enix published game.
I don't see it that way because it's really not. I
don't
know
They published
what
name
F team they sent to Don't None.
They put their name all over the entire. They'd be having this nice scenic moment, and they'd be like, Square Enix.
Yep. And at the beginning of every episode, they let you know.
Every episode.
Yeah. So the remaster is trash. I would not recommend it. And I feel bad for saying that, but I would not recommend it. I had a bunch of issues. Anytime there was like a pre-rendered cutscene, which did show up, and it was very obvious because the quality, like the graphic quality, went down significantly every time. It was like a big blur, like a big ugly blur. I don't know how it is on PC, but it was
on PC. The only way, like, it looks very similar. It's just the frame rate goes down to 30.
Yeah.
But I had to wonder why they did pre-rendered cutscenes at all, because they used the in-game engine and the in-game assets to render it. So it's like, why? I don't understand why anyone ever does that.
But on the remaster, there's no sound. Zero
What?
sound. It's completely silent on every single cutscene.
Are you sure that was
yes.
like a you
Nope,
issue?
I'm sure. And I restarted the game several times.
Is it a reported issue? Like Square Enix is like, we're working on this.
I didn't check, but you can also, I was able to fix it if I press start and then like unpaused, like paused and unpaused. However, it didn't work on the last cutscene. So at the very end of the game, whenever everything's wrapping up and all these big things are happening, no sound, zero, complete silence. Like you're in a car, silence. You're wherever else, silence. Nothing. No music. No voice. Nothing. The eyes were always drawn to the left. Like they were just always like look to the left. It was really weird. Some really big story moments that we'll talk about when we get to the story section had glitches where I could hardly navigate to where I was supposed to walk with Max to resolve this situation. The whole like screen was just like broken textures.
Oh.
It was really bad looking, and that happened twice on two pretty big scenes. And And then I had the issues capturing photos, which I already explained, where I would have to like run away and then run back. But it didn't crash. I just didn't have sound, and I couldn't see what I needed to see for some parts of the game. I didn't have any like weird floaty stuff. Everyone's mouth did move. They were just always looking to the left.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, they would like look straight, and then they'd look to the left. And Austin said, and I don't know if this is true, Austin, necessarily, but didn't you say like for the remaster they did some mocap stuff? And I did see mocap in the credits.
Yeah, they were supposed to replace the animations with like actual motion capture.
Well,
but I don't know, because oh my god, some of the motion capture or the animations in the original are kind of gnarly, especially when you get to like the dog.
Oh yeah. God, the dog.
It's just like, this is what happens with these kinds of games. It's charming in its dumb, stupid way.
Well,
is
see,
it?
It would be charming.
$40 for
like,
a remaster with this one and the prequel. What's it called, Austin? Calm
Before the Storm.
Oh, Before the Storm. Yeah.
Like, if you got great performances and a great script, then like, sure, I'll get into it and be like, oh yeah, the charm of the bad graphics but the performances were so good, so I just made it. Like, I could do that, but like, there's nothing there to get me excited about these bad graphics.
I'll tell you something scary. Someone greenlit that remaster.
Yeah.
Someone at Square Enix, I assume, like they had to help with the publishing again, was like, yeah, this game needs a remaster. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll do mocap. We'll charge $40. It'll come with the prequel. Yeah. Someone, and that person gets paid. That person has a job at Square Enix.
Maybe not anymore.
Someone posted their bugs that they encountered playing on PS4, and half of the bugs are they only heard audio in their left headset, and it was like footsteps. Like,
oh my gosh, I didn't have that.
All happened on the left headset.
That's so weird.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't have that. I'm going to throw in the spoilers tag so we can talk about the story and spoil things, because it's important.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter. Who's going to play this game after listening to us?
It's a story-based game, so like if you really want to play this game, then you probably shouldn't listen to us talk all about the story.
It's all stories, and it's separated into 5 episodes. We don't need to go. I don't want to go in detail from each episode because that's ridiculous.
Do broad strokes.
But I do want to hear your guys' opinions on each episode, specifically a few of them. Also, just like a warning that this game does deal with some pretty serious topics, like suicide and stuff like that. So, yeah. And all just a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, yeah. So it's a pretty intense game. There's like a big warning. I saw it in the PC version too, right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, you play as Max, this kid who goes to a high school.
They call it a high school and they call it a college at 2 different times. So
What is it,
call
Max?
high school more?
I think it's a senior high school where they're like, I don't think of it like a magnet school. People here are doing special stuff before they go to college.
So it's like, yo, I'm gonna graduate. I want to specialize in photography. I'm going to go to this school for just a year and like really learn a lot about photography. So I'll be ready when I go to college. Something like that.
Okay, like you're trying to ascribe real life reasons to it. This doesn't exist. Nobody goes to a school for 1 year, and nobody we don't have these stupid boarding school, drama things anymore.
But it's
And
supposed to be
known for
believable.
It's known for its photography professor, but like they have other subjects there that I guess are just like not
Gen Ed, maybe.
like they've got science and other stuff, but it's like, yeah, they're there, but they're just there. It's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just wave it away. They're at school.
They are at school. You're in the big thing that happens in the first episode, I think, is that you learn about your powers, right? To rewind time. And it happens when you see this blue butterfly. Is that a hen at the butterfly effect, guys? It happens when this blue butterfly flies in, and all of a sudden you just know how to reverse time, Mox. What's up with that?
I mean, like,
it's a very traumatic moment.
True.
So
here's a little fun thing about that moment. She doesn't recognize her friend.
She looks totally different.
And it'd been, what?
5 years.
Something like that.
Austin, if you dyed your hair blue and started wearing different clothes, I like to think if I saw your face, I would still recognize you.
I mean, you're around the corner in a bathroom in a high tense situation.
Not buying it. And
people are growing up. I believe everybody in this thing is 18. So from a 13-year-old to an 18-year-old, and she's like a different person. It made sense to me.
I haven't seen Euphoria, but this game gives me like Euphoria. What's that, like Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, whatever.
Yes.
One Tree Hill, all that
Tries
stuff.
Too hard.
Yeah,
Don't say it. One Tree Hill. God, that show. I could spend an hour talking about that.
It just reminds me of like all that stuff. Like, oh, we're edgy high school kids. I haven't seen Euphoria. Maybe they're in college, but
no, I hate that trope.
Gosh, they're so edgy though. They're so edgy. This fancy rich boy pulls a gun on your friend, but you don't recognize her as your friend Chloe, but she is. And you see that he shoots her, and then you learn that you can rewind time, so you interfere by pulling the fire alarm. You're kind of freaked out, and you go to the lighthouse, I think, right? Don't you fast forward time at the end of that episode?
I don't know how much you want to cover in the details.
Not that much.
The game starts off at the lighthouse, and then you wake up from that dream
in that class. Yeah.
That's when you go to the bathroom and have all that.
All that jazz happens. But the first episode is just learning your powers. The second episode is when, and then you see a few other things. Now, the second episode is when you continue.
Things happen.
Yeah, things start to happen. Yeah, you continue to learn about your powers, and you start to learn about different characters and like what's kind of going on, and why is everyone making fun of this character named Kate and saying that she's a bad person and using different words and stuff like that, and all this spreads graffiti about her and all this stuff. And it turns out like she was at some party and she was like making out with a bunch of different people or something, and there was a video, someone decided to record it for some reason, and it was all over the internet, and so everyone's just like making fun of her. And she's like a good Christian girl, right? That's her thing.
Yeah, her big worry is like, what if this gets to my church? And
yeah. She ends up going on top of a roof and attempts to kill herself by jumping off of the roof. And it was that scene when the game decided that it would not show me any textures. So I'm walking through to get to the door. No textures. Like I just have to like everything's like just weird. These like weird black boxes, and I have to like navigate through the black boxes to get to the door. And then like the screen, if I look like a certain way, it like just like looks super distorted. I don't know, but
anyway, did you save her?
I did.
Me too.
I did not. I tried.
I rewinded. I like redid this thing 12 times till I could save her life.
The game doesn't let you rewind in that section, so.
No, I restarted the chapter, I mean.
Right. I just lived with my choice.
Oh my gosh. How could you live with yourself?
Listen, I did my very best, and just like real life, if I failed, then I fail, right? Like, and wow. What? So it's fun. So since you guys didn't save her, like if you don't save her, your parents are super supportive of you, and her parents reach out to you and they're like, we know you did everything that you could for her, and like don't blame you at all, but you know, thank you for being there for her and trying your best. Like it's like it's very, very supportive.
If you do save her, they're like, you're a superhero Max, man, you're so good, you're so superhero, stuff like that. I mean, am I wrong, Mox? It is like that.
Wow.
They remind you constantly of how you're such a hero. Episode 3, you're starting. So the whole time, everything is kind of pointing to Nathan, the rich boy who pulled the gun on Chloe, and you feel like there's something more there. So you're trying to uncover like what's really going on, and what's really going on with this Kate situation, and
Somebody else has been missing for
months. And then there's a girl named Rachel who's been missing forever, and like, what's kind of going on with that? And is Nathan tied to that and stuff like that? So you break into the principal's office, and you find a bunch of clues, and so you basically are playing this like, this detective type, like you're just trying to figure out what happened in that situation and stuff. And of course, because you're not like an official detective or a cop or whatever, you have to sneak in and do all these different things, and it's risky and it's illegal and blah blah blah. You run into you sneak into this motorhome of this drug dealer in town, Frank, and you learn that Rachel had a relationship with Frank and all this stuff. What's the big event that happens at the end of episode 3? Is that when? Yeah, that's when you start rewinding time, and that's when you learn about the photo power, right? Episode 3.
I thought so.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is that you can focus on a photo, and you can go back to the time when that photo was taken. And so Max decides that she can save Chloe's father, who died in a car accident. So she goes back in time to hide his keys so that he can't drive to help his wife with groceries or something. Anyway, you hide the keys, and they show this like I guess it's like a cutscene, but they show all these images that are telling like what happened, and they all like erase and are replaced with stuff. And so you see like, oh, instead of like the funeral of her dad, Chloe like gets a new car, or she like does this or whatever. And the end of that episode, Chloe's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
Do you feel like that was predictable, Austin?
I mean, before they showed her, I was like, "What, is Chloe going to be in a wheelchair?" And then
oh my god,
she just wheels on up, and it was like, yep, okay.
Mox, would you say like the story was predictable for you? Because I know like you're a big story person. Do you feel like
not so much as like the elements of it, but I hated that it like established the theme of like nothing is going to be nice. There's no good ending, which I hate because I always want a good ending. But it's all tropey. You just find the trope, throw it in. There it is.
Yep.
Nothing's new under the sun.
So
and there's some really odd anachronisms where, so it's supposed to, like, the game takes place in 2013. When you go back 5 years, quote unquote, to 2008, her family, who they have money because the dad is there, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna get one of those newfangled computers." It's 2008, girl. Everyone has a computer.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, we need to keep up. Keep moving.
Episode 4. That's when you find out about this hidden bunker that's under a barn that was owned by the Prescotts, and you go in there and you see all these creepy photos.
That's Nathan's last name, by the way.
Yeah, that's Nathan's last name. Yeah, the rich boy who pulled a gun on Chloe, who you're investigating. You go in there and you like are seeing all these like photos taken of. There's binders filled with that have girls' names on them, and they're pictures taken when these girls are like drugged. And then you get like a text that someone's going to destroy some evidence, because at this time you've already learned that Rachel that she was murdered, and that her bones were at this like, her body was at this like junkyard or scrapyard or whatever. And so you're like, oh no, they're going to destroy the evidence and we need that. So you rush back to the junkyard, and then, oh my gosh, it's not Nathan, it's the teacher. The teacher drugs Max
teacher.
And shoots Chloe and kills her. And that
Max
guy
can't rewind time because she's drugged.
Yeah, and that like, I'm not saying that, oh, I totally expected him to come up behind you or whatever, but he did put off like a weird vibe, that teacher, I feel.
Okay, we gotta go fast.
Episode 5 is the last episode, and
you were like, at the beginning of this, you don't even want to share all the details. We're just going to cover broad strokes.
Those are my broad strokes, Mox. Okay,
yeah,
Mox,
a lot out.
Give us the broad strokes of episode 5.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to skip straight to, she gets to decide if she wants to continue the alternate timeline she initiated by saving Chloe's life, and thus keeping this maelstrom of craziness.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the storm at all. Like, there's a gigantic storm that is being hinted at all along.
Beach whales
to destroy
snow in the summer.
2 moons.
2 moons.
An eclipse that was unscheduled. So there's this big
Unscheduled.
storm that was coming.
That's what they say.
It's going to destroy the town. Like, they're like, oh, I would have known that this was coming, right? But
It's because she changed history. So
chaos theory.
Chaos
That's not
theory.
what that means.
Max has to decide, final choice, does she use the photograph she took of the blue butterfly from the first scene just before she stopped Nathan from shooting Chloe and thus stop this, whatever phenomenon from happening? Or does she say, no, the whole world is going to suck because you need to be alive, Chloe? And that's your choice.
Not the whole world, but Arcadia.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's implied that it's like beyond the ripples. Anyway.
So what did you guys do, Mox?
I didn't do anything. Those 2 choices both suck. And so what I did was I got to the point where you make the choice. I closed the game, uninstalled it back in 2016, and told myself I'd never play it again nor install it again. And then when it got chosen, I thought, well, I'll reinstall it. And then I'm like, wait, why did I have this thought in my head that I didn't want to play it again? And then I pressed play, and then I realized, and I didn't play it again.
Austin, what did you do?
I sacrificed Chloe in this timeline, and in the alternate timeline, I helped her to die.
Right.
So
Wow, you
It's-
just really...
Same.
the only way people can be happy is if Chloe is dead.
Yep.
Because
Oh my
she's just
goodness.
awful. She is the worst, and she only causes problems around her. And if you weren't there, she would have died anyways. So, yeah. Well,
And then it's like nothing happened. It's like 5 episodes of Life is Strange didn't
they
even
erased
matter.
everything that you did, except, like, I guess you know that about Nathan, and so Nathan gets caught because he shoots Chloe,
Yeah.
and so you just let her die.
And
But
then
he
you
gets
turn
caught
in the
'cause of that.
teacher and
You turn in the teacher. Everything else doesn't matter. So, like, Kate, she died in mine. She was there at the funeral because, like, so literally, like, everything that all the choices you make until the very last one do not matter at
Yep.
all.
And that is the story of Life is Strange, which is the meat and potatoes of this video game.
A 10-hour trolley problem.
A 10-hour trolley problem. It's true.
It really is, but there's people on both sides of it, and people. It's just like, is it the one person or like 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Right.
And then like with one trolley that kills 1,000 people, at least the 5 hours, 10 hours were worth your time. But then with the trolley that is
Kills
hitting
one.
toward the one person, it was a waste of time. It's like
Very
1,000
true.
people or a waste of time. Both of those things are very terrible.
So would you say not the most satisfying ending then?
Absolutely not.
All right. Spoilers tag is coming off. Mox clearly has somewhere to be. She's in a hurry.
I was just tired of getting stuck in this awful talking about this story. I feel like we were stuck in the trolley problem.
So true. Mox, give us your personal take, your score. What does Mox think of Life is Strange?
I wanted to like it, and I liked it as I played it, but then as the tropes of the story just kept building, and then things didn't change at all nor get better, it became very frustrating. And I just don't like playing games where you can't win, because I play a game to win.
Mox wants to
I
win.
give it. Who doesn't?
I know. No, you're
There's
right.
like the
No one plays to
main
lose.
No, Max doesn't win in every iteration of this game. Like, there's no way for her to win. And it's like, ugh, why even play it then? The only way to win is not to play.
She's basically, she's miserable no matter what happens, right?
It sucks. I
Yeah.
don't want to play that.
It's a lose-lose.
So, it's like, yeah.
Score?
So-
Score?
I give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 from Mox. Go ahead, Austin. Go ahead.
Sure. The script was really, really bad, and because of that, a lot of the dialogue was like, at first I wanted to say the acting was bad, and some of the acting really was bad, but some of it, was
Well,
just
you have to see
because
the material.
It's got
I know,
Ashley Birch
some
in
of it,
here,
the
Austin.
material is just really bad, and like you can only do so much with what you have to work with. Like you said, the slang was very out of place already in 2015 and very forced. I'm surprised that nobody.
That's hella not cool of you to say that.
Oh my god. I hated that the choices ultimately didn't matter at all. I know some people say choices don't matter in Telltale games, but I feel by the end that they matter more.
They literally
than they did
don't.
Here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
The time manipulation was interesting, and there were some cool mechanics around that. I think the coolest way it could have been used was the one time it was taken away from you, which sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that you kind of learned things about it and knew things that you could do as you went. And even in some of the, I know Mox won't call them puzzles, but like the little puzzles where you could kind of figure out like, oh, if I rewind time, I stay in the same location that I'm at, and I have all the items on me that I have. So like, when you're like, how do I get from here to there with this item? Sometimes that can be cool. There were some little connections that I didn't expect of like callbacks to things that I had done that I liked. There were also lots of things that Chloe wouldn't stop talking about ever that she didn't like that I did, and it seems like she just wants you to be an awful person. And she's like, I'm not guilting you, and then she goes on to guilt you over and over again.
Gosh, so true.
God. I did not enjoy the story. I didn't enjoy a whole lot about this game. I wanted to like it. I think part of it, the main problems I have are the script and maybe the setting. Like
Chloe.
like the characters I can't really connect with at all. And maybe that's because I've never been a teenage girl, and that's like something that I've always had trouble. Like all the shows you mentioned, I was like, I could not bear to watch any of those shows. So that may just be something on me. But even then, it's like I feel like I could if the dialogue were better or the characters were like well written. Man, yeah, this was rough, and it did not make me want to play anything else in the Life is Strange franchise at all. So, between the time manipulation was cool, the small tech issues and the horrible script, I think would remove the point that I would give it for that. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Wait, Austin, have you seen or read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
I have not.
Oh, I was going to ask, because that is good writing, and it's easy to figure out, like, I mean, obviously I've been a teenage girl, but I think that is more easily, like you said, conveys to you what it's like. And I agree with what you said about, like, no, it doesn't help you in this game.
Yeah.
I can't say anything negative that you guys haven't already said. Like, I feel I have all the same pain points about this game as far as like writing goes. And for me, though, a lot of the issues that I had like came from just like the remaster being bad as well, like where there's no sound and the eyes were behaving really weird, and I had these weird glitches, and there were some issues capturing photos. I will say this game's a real easy platinum, or a real easy 1000 gamer score, or a real easy 100%.
I disagree. You have to sit through it. Come on.
That is true. That is true. But if you can sit through and watch, the thing I did like about this game is I like how the episodes start. It does feel like you're starting a movie when you start it because of the intro. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. And I like that they used licensed music and that stuff. I thought that was really neat. But for the most part, like, it wasn't very fun, and the story was kind of predictable, and it didn't really matter at the end. So
it really didn't matter.
It really didn't, yes. And so for me, I would also give this a 5 out of 10. And I already own the Before the Storm game.
Same.
And
me too.
Maybe I'll try it just to, like, the first
only
episode.
3 episodes.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, maybe.
But it's all about Chloe, so
But you learn a lot about Rachel, supposedly. So I don't know. It might be cool.
Well, that's the other thing. This is like the opposite of Twin Peaks, where it's like in Twin Peaks somebody dies and the whole town's distraught about it, but all the people there are weird, odd characters. And here somebody disappears and nobody cares, and everyone's just kind of a normal, boring person that's just awful.
I don't have any interest on playing Life is Strange 2. True Colors did look pretty cool.
Is that not Life is Strange 2?
No, there's a Life is Strange 2 as well.
Oh my goodness.
It features
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. It features 2 boys, I think, like brothers, I think they're brothers or something. And then there's Life is Strange True Colors, which came out really recent. I might give that a go. It's on Game Pass just to see, but
Tyler, don't forget about the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Is that in the universe technically? I think it is.
That's connected to Life is Strange too.
Anyway.
What is the difference between 2 and True Colors?
Yeah, there's a 2. There's a 2.
Oh my god.
Well, that was a little dive in our take on Life is Strange.
It was a video game, at least.
It was a video game. And if you enjoyed hearing us discuss and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put, because our vote just ended. And it was between Ghostwire Tokyo, Shadow of the Colossus, the 2018 version, and The Last Guardian. And there's a tie between Ghostwire Tokyo and Shadow of the Colossus. And I'm going to pick Shadow of the Colossus.
Yay.
So our next game will be Shadow of the Colossus. Even though I've been playing Ghostwire Tokyo, I want a good reason to play through Shadow of the Colossus. Thank you everyone for voted, and thank you everyone for joining us on stream and just listening. It means a lot to us. If you weren't here live, or if you're here live and you want to know when the next Video Game Club episode will be, it will be on September 11th at 2 Eastern on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. Again, if you can't catch us live, don't worry, it'll be on YouTube and all major podcast services. Austin, I hear you have a little announcement.
Yep. So, if everything goes according to plan, then there's going to be a new member of my family arriving this week.
Yay!
So, yes, very excited. What that will mean is I'm going to have to take a little bit of a hiatus from Video Game Club. So, next episode I'm going to miss for sure. And hopefully I will be able to come back soon after that.
Okay.
We'll miss you.
We will miss
I'll
you.
miss you guys too, and I'll be listening along and playing alongside if I can. And I'll try to send in a little something for Tyler to read during the next one.
Aww. We will definitely miss you, and we're so excited for you to welcome your new family member. And yeah, we will. Don't worry, we'll have some familiar guests, new guests, on in place of Austin, so you don't have to just hear me and Moxie or go back and forth.
Whoa! Not in Austin's place.
Not in his place.
It's
in his absence. That's true. That's true. But of course, yeah, you'll be missed, and yeah, we're super looking forward to you coming back from your temporary hiatus.
Me too.
And on that note, Austin, thank you so much for joining us for Life is Strange.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And Mox, again, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Tyler. This was Video Game Club, episode 54, Life is Strange, and we're out.